All right. Oh, the game's not showing. Nice. Am I going to keep this in? I don't know. Am I going for a humorous VGT? Maybe I am. Who knows? Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mark. I have just finished my second interview of the day. Had a really cool thought during archery that I wanted to talk about, and the mood is ripe. This is different. I am positively stressed. I've got a little too much caffeine flowing through my system, I think. It helps me think a little faster, especially having stopped caffeine for a while. So, my life out of the way. Had a technical interview this morning, went to archery, got back, had another interview about project management. They asked me how I manage my time. That was great. I was like, there's a short answer and a long answer. Anyway, enough about me. I had a thought during archery. I was taking apart my bow, as you do with a takedown bow. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just look up takedown recurve. Yeah, just take off the limbs. You unstring it, take off the limbs, and you have the middle part. God, I'm speaking so fast. Stress and caffeine don't. Whew, okay. Anyway, I was taking apart, and I was thinking about the ship of Theseus. Now, if you don't know what the ship of Theseus is, well, let me take a moment to explain it to you. Oh, my energy is so weird right now. The ship of Theseus is Theseus's ship that has been taken apart and fixed and whatever so many times that all of its parts are new after a while. So, in philosophy, this is known because at what point does it no longer become Theseus's ship? If in 2005, Mark, actually, should I use my bow as an example? I don't know. Aristotles Axe, easier to talk about. An axe, let's just say it has three parts. You have the metal thing that go chop chop, you have the big wooden handle, and you have the rubber handle. I don't know. I need three parts for this example. This axe belongs to Aristotle. If you cut wood so much that the leather strap rubs away and you replace the leather strap, well, it's still Aristotle's axe. Okay, you cut wood for 2 more months, you break the handle, well, you take off the head and the strap and you put on a new handle. And after a while, the head gets rusty and you get rid of it and you put a new head on. All of these parts are now different parts than when they originally were, but is it still Aristotle's axe? I'd argue yes. I think there is meaning to these things, but this is not the point of today's video game therapy. When I was taking down my bow, I thought, I should ask my mom to send me the heavier limbs because I'm having an okay time pulling back 35 pounds. I have 55-pound limbs I used to use before I hurt my shoulder in COVID and whatever. Great. Doesn't matter if you don't know what any of this is, but I call my bow Fwip, F-W-I-P, because that's the sound it makes in little comic books. And who doesn't like naming things? Sociopaths. Anyway, I'm sorry, that's perhaps out of line. If you don't like naming things, it doesn't mean you're a sociopath. Moving on. God, the energy is, whew. I'm gonna get hit by something in like an hour and it's just gonna die. Let's fly to get away from this lemur, shall we? Taking my bow down and, hello? Oh my God. Wait, is the lemur, if I fall into a chasm right now, okay. Does a lemur just follow my path? Does it actually make a lot of sense? Anyway, game aside, taking apart my bow, and if I put in these 2 limbs in the bow, is it still my bow? Well, technically, yeah, it is. Even so, maybe all 4 limbs are part of the bow. But if I buy a new bow, obviously, Fwip is no longer Fwip, which is largely unfortunate. A bow to support heavier than 55 pounds. I think actually the riser. Anyway, replace the riser if it gets. Is this my bow? So I was thinking about this, right? Thinking, as you do. We are humans, after all. And I was like, because as we know, progress has been on my mind. If I change, okay, more specifically, the past 2 or so weeks, okay, the past 4 days, I have very specifically felt like I'm not who I haven't felt like myself in many ways. Not gonna go into that right now. But this was a primer in my head for me looking at my bow and thinking, You know, am I gonna forever be Mark? Now, for obvious reasons. Obvious in the sense that you don't really have to think about it. Yes, of course I'm gonna be Mark forever. But if my bone cells change every 7 years, then in theory all of my bones are dying, whatever. Is it bones in 7 years? It's something in 7 years. Maybe it's 9. No, I think it's bones in 7 years. You know, if everything is gonna be new in 7 years, am I still the same person? In a sense, this relates to the bigger question of consciousness, I think. I like to think of the soul not as a religious entity, but the one thing that we can't, you know, change. It modifies and grows over time, right? But as far as we go as humans, it's the one thing that doesn't get replaced. So, and the soul ties everything together. I don't have a lot of thought done on the soul, but that kind of sums up my idea. I have to think about it more. I haven't thought about the soul in a while. Anyway. So, if we change, because I know I talked about change. No, I talked about in a blog post that I haven't posted yet. If we change a lot, how much do we have to change to become a totally different person? And is that a bad thing? If I have changed so much that fundamental parts of me are different, is that good? In many ways, I don't, you know, I was having a conversation with someone and I ended up being really patronizing and they called me out on it and I was like, Jesus, like, dude, what the hell? This is not you. And I'm not sure if maybe I've been stressed, whatever. Nothing was really on my mind at the time. Perhaps it is, I don't know. Oh, they asked me how I dealt with stress in the interview and I said, well, I haven't been really stressed in a long time, but I realize that's relative. And I feel awkward for that answer. I saved it. I answered it at the end, just stepping away from things, but oh, the bird is gone. Okay, I have to save the scarf until I get another one. I need to do 2 backflips with 2 birds. Anyway. But you know, so there are these aspects of this quote unquote changed self that I am, right? But I don't like a lot of what has come about. Oh, hello. Bro. That's disappointing. Here we go. Never mind. Sorry, guys. Like I said, weird energy today. As we change as people, to what degree can we say, I'm a whole new person? You know, there's that, the big thing of like, ooh, new year, new me. But new me can only come after a certain while, after you've changed a lot. So there are definitely aspects of myself that have never changed, or at least haven't changed yet. I remember when I was getting glasses in like the 6th grade or something, there were new glasses. And my dad was like, do you think that you need, you know, the thing that turns your glasses into sunglasses? Like when you walk out in the sun, your glasses turn dark or whatever. I was like 14 and 13. I don't know. I remember being young. God, I'm getting old. No, I'm kidding. I got a lot of life ahead of me, in theory. But I just remember saying, well, I don't need them, but I do really want them. And I think back on that moment. I was thinking back on it today, at least, and thinking about this whole change of self idea, right? And, you know, I still think like that. When I'm buying something, it's like, all right, do I really need this? Or do I just really want it? And wanting something is a valid reason to buy it. You know, I really want a new keyboard. But I don't really have the money for it right now. If I needed a new keyboard, for example, spilled water on this one, that's a different story. Then maybe, you know, I'd go buy like a $30 Bluetooth keyboard and then live with that for another 3 years. But I digress. This is simply an aspect of myself that I remember from a long time ago, and that is still prevalent in me today. Do you need it or want it? Well, the focus this man has. Let's go. Give it to me. The freaking achievement. Yes. feels good, man. There are a lot of other aspects that are similar to this. I mean, I started right now. The interviews I'm doing are for a big Minecraft server, full-time or part-time, maybe both. I don't know, job. And it's like I started coding to code Minecraft plugins when I was 13, I'd say. That's when I started trying to learn Java. And it's like, it's low-key coming full circle. And when they ask me, why do you want to work for, or why do you think we should hire you? One of my answers today was, well, I've come full circle. I think I've, got a background for this. Which is probably a lot of their applicants, honestly, but. Ooh, can I get the quadruple? Oh, I can't. He got too cocky. So 100 coins in one run, 2,500 point combo. Okay, this last one is just long, but it's doable. So anyway, these are, two aspects of me that really haven't changed much, but 2 years ago and prior to that, I was a very shy person. I would say confidently that I didn't really have a social life, at least not outside of school. And now, during my last semester of university, I would finally consider myself to actually have like college friends that I consistently talk to. I had friends in classes and we'd meet up to, do homework or something, but I never really had a group of friends. But now I do. And this is a change that's good. But the thing is, I guess this all kind of ties into like who we think we are and how our identity relates to us in the bigger picture. Because if I'm a very hermit person and an introvert, I'm still definitely an introvert. Making videos has helped me find out how to talk, quite frankly. But if I tell myself I am an introvert, I don't have friends, whatever, then a lot of that comes down to I won't end up looking for friends and whatever. I won't look for change in the first place because I am who I am. And that, maybe that's where it all starts. You have to look for change in the first place. You cannot use who you are now to define who you might be. God, I suck at logic. I can't become a programmer. Okay. I think I talked about this in a past VGT, but all right, accept the fact. Take responsibility for the fact that you suck at logic. And go practice it. Go do some lessons. Change that. So I guess, what degree should we change fundamental aspects of ourselves? What degree should we say, I like this thing about me, I don't want to change it? And what degree should we say, maybe this isn't the best thing about me? When do we listen to other people who might say, I don't like this part about you? You're too passive. Well, I like being passive. Dude, you being ambivalent is really annoying. Unfortunately, that's how I deal with a lot of life things these days. Things I've heard before. So, these are aspects of myself that I've changed, but I would consider myself to be more me than I was 2 years ago. Oh, I got 2. That's so unfortunate. I would say that I've, over the last 2 years, found myself. Wow. I haven't thought about that in ages. I had this idea a long time ago that life isn't about creating yourself, but maybe I thought the other way around. That's fascinating. I remember having like some sort of thought that was like, life isn't about finding yourself, but creating yourself. But I don't know. Maybe you create someone, an identity that you want to be, that you want to aspire to, and then you create that person, and then you go find it, I should say. So I guess if you, looking at my bow, for example, if I wanted Whip to be different, right? Well, the best bow for me would be this riser and these limbs. So then does that make the bow that I have now not my bow? That's actually a fascinating question. Maybe the ship of Theseus ends up being Theseus's ship, but at the beginning, it's not. And that's kind of the idea of the soul. I mean, in this regard, you could argue that if Theseus' ship at the end, if my bow after I've replaced its limbs, is still Theseus' ship, is still my bow, respectively, then those items would have to have a soul of some sort. I wouldn't really agree with myself there. Perhaps they have an identity. That might be a bit more accurate. I mean, it's like saying if I put a... I don't know, what defines a chair, what defines a table, whatever. The classic question. If I put a flat surface on 4 legs, does that make it a table? That's a whole other thing, and I'm not going to go into that. Focusing on the self, that's just my big idea today, I guess. I looked at my bow and I was like, huh, if I replaced all parts of it, I have my own Ship of Theseus example. Ha 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 ha, funny. Oh, wait a minute. In terms of progress, am I gonna no longer be myself in 2 more years? Because I define myself as being this wildly different person in the future, after college, whatever. I talk about that in my Future Self VGT, actually. I think I played Abzu during it. Quote unquote, the assignment was to tell people who your future self is, and I should go back and look at that. I made 2 VGTs on it sequentially. Apologies if there's background noise, by the way. There's construction going on. It's the city, of course there is. How much change can we make to ourselves without losing ourselves? Because I think in some instances, you could argue that people change themselves to such an extent that they became totally different people for the worse. Oh, you're no longer you. You're no longer the person I knew. Well, first off, if anyone ever tells you that, take it with a grain of salt, because the person they knew is, of course, not going to be who you are now. I'm sure if I were to talk to someone from high school that I haven't spoken to, in the interim at least, he'd be like, wow, you're not the Mark I remember, and I'd be like, thank you. I don't want to be that Mark. I want aspects of that Mark to remain. The Mark who, I don't know, oh, you were always good in French class, man. Yeah, I still care about languages, some aspects of it, sure, but if someone looked at me and said, you're just how I remember you, I feel like that would be the biggest insult. Ship of Theseus example, again, if Theseus has this dope ship, but then 20 years later still has the same ship when technology has evolved, then that kind of sucks. Then that's just a question of, when does tradition trump when does frick? What was it? Okay, I thought I was gonna be able to backflip, but I guess not. When does tradition trump innovation? Should it trump innovation? When will it? When should it? I don't know. I think innovation is incredibly important. Tradition is something steeped within itself, but again, whole other topic. We should seek to change who we are, but we gotta define core values of ourselves, I guess, is what I'm getting at. I have a letter that I wrote in 6th grade and another one in 8th grade of letter to future Mark or whatever. And it's cool seeing how much I changed and haven't changed. I wrote to myself oh, you still don't drink, right? It's yeah, bro. Fist bump me from the past? Of course I don't. We made that promise. You still running Minecraft? Dude, hell yeah, I'm still running Minecraft. In a sense, pretty disconnected from the server aspect of things, but I should really finish building my thing. Anyway, we should define core aspects of ourselves, and then maybe even change those that you don't like. I got really upset with myself of being too much of a shut-in. I realized that all of my roommates had friends over throughout this entire fall 2019 semester, September through December of 2019. Not once did I have friends over, and I was like, I want to change that. not necessarily have people over, but it was indicative of a deeper problem. Then again, I was focusing a lot on myself, so didn't really have quote unquote time for that. I did, but I chose not to make time for it. Everything's a choice, of course. God, all of these, I love how all of the VGTs just like tie into each other at this point. It's fantastic. I love this idea right now. I could talk about this for another 20 minutes, but when I die, I'm gonna wrap it up. It's just this idea of like, maybe finding a pivot point of who you define yourself as, you know, Thwip, right? My bow, what defines it as my bow? Well, okay, it's in my possession, that's one thing. I don't use a sight or any equipment. It's just the bow and me, and arrows and whatever. A riser, 2 limbs, the string, some arrows, that is it. Lemur, do not kill me. I am on a fire streak right now, all right? Back off, thank you. I would like you to move it. Oh, that's it. Damn, I really slapped that one on there. All right, but you know, if I define Flip as a bow that never uses a sight or something, then I can replace it. The limbs, even the riser, maybe. Technically, you can't do that if you need to go to a certain level, but we're gonna ignore that for now. We're not specific to bows here. Then I can change everything around that pivot point, right? In a lot of bog. Let's go. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. God, good VGT topic, strange energy, beating the record on the game. Let's go. God, they should have competitive alto and crush it. So yeah, finding that pivot point, I guess, is my takeaway right now. When I changed a lot about myself in that fateful semester, Fedders left the comment about how much change they've experienced in 6 months, right? And I kind of thought, you know, I would say that I changed a lot in 4 months, but that 4 months has become part of a larger 19 months at this point. So change isn't, you know, months at a time. It's part of a bigger picture. It's a weird ratio. Maybe I could say I've changed 13 months. A few months took a break. Got tired, I don't know. But at the beginning, I found this pivot point of identity where I was kind of like, I want to be this person. I want to be able to work on all these projects. I want to be better at martial arts than I am, but I'm not right now. So I took those attributes of myself. You know, projects were steeped around me being a jack of all trades. Martial arts was me wanting to be someone who could be relied upon, regardless of the situation. And so I changed things about me, I guess, that pivoted around those center points. I guess what my soul is, I don't know. Soul's a weird topic, but hopefully you got my point. It's that thing that still makes Theseus' ship, even if all the parts have been replaced. It's the thing that still says, oh yeah, that guy, that's Mark. Even though I'm different in many ways, people should still be like, yeah, that's Mark. Dang it, dude. That's a good ending though. Watch it be like, beat your record. Oh, I'd cry. Oh, bet, okay. This first one's gonna be rough, but yeah. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for listening. This has been a longer episode, but I like it. It'll definitely be this week's episode. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. It's always wonderful hearing those. Even if you're just passively listening, just, I don't know, hit the like button. You don't have to leave a comment. I'd love to see the like button as a response to that. Whatever. This is really just for me ranting about things, documenting my life's thoughts, perhaps. Maybe one day in the future, I'll come back and be like, this kid thought he shouldn't buy what he only needs. That didn't make any sense, but... Or maybe I'll come back and be like, wow, I have not changed in the right way. Anyway, thanks so much for watching and or listening. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Don't be wary of change. Embrace it. Change is progress. People are often afraid of change. Or are they afraid of change or losing tradition? So yeah, have a good one, and I will see you next week.